Have you ever chosen something that was good for you, only to feel as though you had hurt someone else? Maybe you decided to rest instead of helping again. Maybe you turned down a request because you were already exhausted. Maybe you chose a different career, moved away from home, ended an unhealthy relationship, or simply admitted that you were no longer happy. Nothing about your decision was meant to punish anyone. And yet, somewhere inside you, it felt like betrayal. You may have thought, they trusted me. They need me. What if I am abandoning them? What kind of person chooses their own happiness when someone else is disappointed? Choosing yourself can feel like betrayal when you were taught that love means self-sacrifice. This belief does not usually appear overnight. It often develops slowly through repeated experiences in families, friendships, and romantic relationships. Some people grow up learning that being loved means being useful. They receive praise when they are obedient, helpful, quiet, emotionally available, or easy to depend on. They may become the responsible child, the peacemaker, the listener, or the person who never creates additional problems. Over time, these roles can become part of their identity. Instead of simply thinking, "I help the people I love," they begin to believe, "I am lovable because I help." That difference is important. When your sense of worth becomes connected to what you provide, setting a limit can feel like losing your goodness. Saying no does not feel like rejecting a single request. It feels like rejecting the entire relationship. You may intellectually understand that you are allowed to rest, but emotionally, your nervous system may interpret that rest as danger. What if they become angry? What if they stop needing me? What if they think I have changed? What if they leave? This is why choosing yourself can produce such intense guilt, even when you have done nothing morally wrong. Guilt is normally meant to alert us when we have violated our values or harmed another person. But emotional guilt does not always prove that wrongdoing has occurred. Sometimes guilt simply means that you have broken an old relational rule. Perhaps the old rule was, always keep everyone happy. Never become a burden. Do not disappoint your family. Put other people first. Love must be proven through sacrifice. When you finally behave differently, your mind may react as though you have done something dangerous or selfish. But breaking an unhealthy rule is not the same as betraying someone. Consider a simple example. Imagine that a friend calls you late at night because they are struggling. You have listened many times before, but today you are physically and emotionally exhausted. You say, "I care about you, but I do not have the energy to talk tonight. Can we speak tomorrow?" Your friend sounds disappointed. Immediately, you feel terrible. You may begin to question yourself, even though your response was honest and respectful. The problem is that many people interpret another person's disappointment as evidence of their own wrongdoing. But disappointment is an emotion, not a moral verdict. Someone can be disappointed by your choice, without your choice being cruel. A family member may feel hurt because you chose a career they did not expect. A partner may feel lonely because you asked for some time alone. A friend may feel rejected because you could not help them. Their emotions are real and deserve respect, but their emotions do not automatically determine whether your decision was wrong. Two truths can exist at the same time. Someone can feel disappointed, and you can still be making a healthy decision. You can care about their pain without making yourself responsible for removing all of it. Another reason choosing yourself feels like betrayal is that many of us confuse love with unlimited availability. We imagine that if we truly love someone, we should always be patient, always be giving, and always be willing to sacrifice. But love without boundaries can slowly become resentment. When you repeatedly abandon your own needs, you may continue to look caring on the outside while becoming tired, angry, or emotionally distant on the inside. You may start keeping silent records of everything you have given. You may secretly hope that others will notice your sacrifice and repay it. You may eventually withdraw without explaining why, because you have reached your limit. In this way, constant self-sacrifice does not always protect relationships. Sometimes it quietly damages them. Healthy love does require compromise. There will be moments when we choose inconvenience, patience, or generosity for another person. But compromise is different from self-erasure. A compromise is a conscious choice made within a relationship where both people matter. Self-erasure happens when one person's needs repeatedly disappear. You are not betraying someone simply because your life cannot always revolve around their comfort. This can feel especially difficult when you begin moving away from a role you have held for years. Perhaps you have always been the dependable child in your family, the friend who solves every crisis, the partner who avoids conflict, the employee who accepts every extra task. When you change, the people around you may react. Some may be confused. Some may resist. Some may accuse you of becoming selfish. This does not always mean that they are bad people. They may have become accustomed to the version of you who rarely had limits. When you stop performing that role, the relationship must adjust, and adjustment can feel uncomfortable. The guilt you experience during this process does not necessarily mean you should return to your old position. Sometimes guilt is simply the emotional cost of becoming more honest. Choosing yourself does not mean that you stop loving others. It means that your love no longer requires your disappearance. It means that your rest, happiness, goals, and emotional needs are not treated as less important simply because someone else has expectations. You can say no and still care. You can leave a harmful situation and still remember the good moments. You can disappoint someone and still be a compassionate person. You can choose a different path without rejecting everyone who expected you to stay the same. Before changing a decision out of guilt, it may help to ask yourself a few questions. Did I intentionally harm this person? Was I dishonest, cruel, or disrespectful? Or am I simply making a choice they do not prefer? Am I taking responsibility for my actions, or am I trying to control every emotion they feel? These questions can help separate genuine accountability from learned guilt. You are responsible for communicating your choices with as much honesty and respect as possible. You are not responsible for making sure no one ever feels disappointed by them. The people who truly care about you may not always agree with your decisions. They may need time to understand them. But healthy love eventually makes space for both people to exist. It does not demand that one person becomes smaller so the other person never feels uncomfortable. Choosing yourself may feel unfamiliar. It may feel selfish at first. It may even feel like betrayal. But sometimes that feeling is not telling you that you have abandoned someone else. Sometimes it is telling you that, for the first time, you have stopped abandoning yourself. You can love someone deeply without sacrificing the entire shape of your life. And perhaps real love is not proven by how much of yourself you can lose. Perhaps it is proven by whether both people are allowed to remain whole.